Hey everybody, how you doing? Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, and time for an update on for Jameis Winston fans like myself and you. And the question is, where will a Heisman Trophy-winner quarterback from Florida State go, or will he stay in New Orleans? Well, there were reports from at least three different NFL reporter sources on Twitter that Jameis had signed with the Seattle Seahawks and he was expected to go. One reported a 2-year deal, the other a 3-year deal. Well, let me explain that officially, Jameis Winston has talked to the Seahawks, but he has not made a decision. And it's now what I'm about to say is my speculation. This isn't based on any other information I have, but it would seem that it is down to a question of staying in New Orleans with the team and a system he knows, or getting arguably a better deal in another city like Seattle, and starting all over again. That's the rub. The rub is putting his family through yet another move for better money. It's easy for us to, for some of us, like Author 101, for example, say, just go and get the better deal. But you've got kids and family to consider, and you're uprooting them for a better deal yet again after roughly 2 years. And that can be some stress and strain. So this is my thinking out loud about his situation, okay? Um, the bottom line is he's in a great position. He will make a decision, and he is valued. I personally think that he should stay in New Orleans for what would appear to be lesser money, but the Saints' cap situation looks better down the road, and they can always restructure a deal. I think there's a lot to be gained by staying with what he knows in New Orleans, the people that he knows in New Orleans, especially now that Brady is back, also finishing that rivalry. There's a little unfinished business there, I think, that should be a drawing factor for Jameis, not to the point where he would get lowballed, mind you, of course not, but to the point where he would like to, I would think, say, hey, as a fighter, hey, there's this inflection point between my coming back to the Saints and the amount of money I'm paid and my desire to go and get that division title that was once ours. Those considerations are up there uh, for him to ponder. And so, when will that happen? Will it happen today? No, I don't believe it's going to happen today. I would not be surprised if Jameis made a decision regarding what he wants to do this week, and like toward the end of the week on Friday. Okay, that would not surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me if he made the decision tomorrow. But he has choices. Okay, as I understand it, he has choices. Um, Again, I don't know what the specific deal points look like. I think we can guess by maneuvering. But I will say that Seattle definitely wants Jameis Winston to be the quarterback for them. The problem, I think, is that he goes into a situation where he's got a young gun right behind him in Drew Lock. And look, first of all, Drew, I've interviewed Drew. Drew is a great guy, from what I've been able to tell. And I think Jameis Winston and Drew Lock would get along really extremely well. I think they would be fast friends in Seattle and helpful teammates. Drew is that kind of guy. Um, However, there's the quarterback room in New Orleans, And there's really the opportunity there for Jameis to come in and continue the process of giving them the quarterback that helps them, the Saints, get through the modern era post Drew Brees, right? That question of who the leader is still out there. Do I think it's going to be Deshaun Watson? No, I don't think so, because I believe that Deshaun is, first of all, looking for a situation where he comes in clean. I don't think he wants to come into the Saints situation when he really takes a good look at it versus, say, the Panthers. But of course, that's for him to decide. With the Panthers, it's, you have Sam Darnold, who would be your pencil-in backup there. But in the case of New Orleans, how they would only get Deshaun Watson if it was clear that Jameis was going someplace else. I can't see them keeping Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston. That's just, I mean, as interesting a future as that would be, that's two full NFL starters that can get you to a Super Bowl in one room, and it would create too much pressure. Okay, I'm not even suggesting that would happen at all. I don't mean to suggest that would happen at all. Deshaun also has this looming specter out there of the suspension. And while it has always been clear, particularly to me, that Deshaun Watson was not guilty of any of the claims in his lawsuits against him were fake, there were a couple of instances that look like he could have used better judgment and not been in those situations. And I think the league's hand would be forced to at least do something of a symbolic nature, just to show that it's not entirely sweeping the matter under the rug given the climate. That means, what does that translate to? That means that if the Saints decide, or any team decides to go after Deshaun Watson, they have to ask the question, how many games are we going to part with him for, right? Will it be 1, 2, or 4? I personally think it would be something like 3. But 3. But, and if the civil cases comes out where it's completely dropped, you're definitely looking at maybe 1 or 2, and that's it. Like a slap on the wrist, and that's it. But still, the question is out there, how many games will a team that brings Deshaun Watson on have to face not having him for? Now, by contrast, of course, one doesn't have that problem with Jameis Winston. He's had his best year last year in New Orleans. He knows the terminology. Pete Carmichael comes back as the offensive coordinator. Ronald Curry is elevated to passing game coordinator. And I'm quite excited for what they do together. And I know that factor is something else that Mr. Winston is considering. Relationships are a very, very big deal in all of this. But I think also this question of moving again and the strain it puts on his family. They're also Southern people, right? And I believe that their desire would be to stay in the South. So, in closing, Jameis Winston has not made a deal to go to Seattle, but he's thinking about it. He is thinking about it. And I think his future will become crystal clear toward week's end, if not before. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com.